Welcome to the September 11th, 2018 edition of the BitcoinNews.com daily radio show. We cover the biggest stories in Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency every single day forever. This is your host, Space Marine.
And this is Space Cadet. What is up, everybody? We're live from the upper atmosphere of Jupiter.
Affirmative, Space Cadet. We better do this show quickly before we fall deeper into Jupiter and then we'll lose signal.
Bitcoin is at 62.65. This time of the evening, Space Marine take us through the analysis.
Affirmative, Space Cadet. Bitcoin has dropped again slightly. It's actually quite steady the past few days for the most part. It's been hovering between $6,400 and as low as $6,170 today. So there's actually some volatility, but if you zoom out a bit, it's mostly steady around $6,200, $6,300. With some slight dips here and there. Like a few days ago, it went as low as $6,100. Like it crashed all at once from $6,500 to $6,100, and then it rallied all at once, about the same amount. Back up to $6,500 almost. But now, since then, it's been steady around $6,300. It's not really about the exact price. It's about that it's nearing that support level. Like, for example, Bitcoin went down to $5,800 in the middle of August, and that was as low as it got, and that was really the support level. $1,500 has been the support level throughout the year. So it went as low as that in the middle of August, and then it rallied all the way to $7,500. And by the way, it was around $1,500 in late June, and it rallied to $8,500 in late July, and then it crashed to $5,800 in the middle of August, and then it went up to $7,500 recently, and now it's back down near $6,000. It might go as low as $5,800, probably not. I think it might actually steady at around $6,000 this time. But the trend has been clear. It's near that support level. So if you want to buy Bitcoin, this is the time. It might not ever get lower than this because the $5,800 to $6,000 support level has been holding very strongly. It has gone as low as $5,750. But if it goes, it probably won't go much below that. If it does, it'll be a big paradigm shift. And then the game will totally change. And that's probably not happening. It's been a very solid support level. So once again, this is the time to buy Bitcoin. It might go up to 20,000 and beyond. So like, Bitcoin throughout history has always gone back up to its record high. Eventually, it might take a year or two. So, like, if you're buying now at 6,000, you could almost, like, say, it can't be for sure. I don't want to give that advice that it's for sure going to be 20,000 again, but it probably is. So if you're buying at 6,000, you expect profits all the way up to 20,000. Pretty much, and probably beyond that. Bitcoin's always not only gone to its record high, it's gone way beyond it. So it might go up to 100,000 this time. And a lot of experts are saying that. Looking at the rest of the market, because there's obviously been some bloodshed in the crypto markets, because Bitcoin's gone down a lot. You know, it's at 6,200 about, 6,250. Ethereum's doing really bad. Bitcoin went down like at 1.5% today. Ethereum's down 10% the same day. And this has just been the common trend. Ethereum's been totally losing a lot of money. A lot more than Bitcoin has. Ethereum's market cap's down to $18 billion. It was like $30 billion like a month ago, I think. So it's lost like half its market cap in a month. So like, you know, Bitcoin went through the horrible bear market early on in 2018, and it's been a bear market throughout the year. But Bitcoin hit like 6,000 early on in 2018, and it hasn't gone much below that. Ethereum's going down to new record lows for the year, over and over. And Ripple's actually at $10 billion. So I don't know when this is going to happen, but Ethereum's on track to totally decline as low as Ripple. But Ripple's dropping as fast as it can, too. Ripple's down to $10 billion market cap, and it dropped 6% today. Last time I looked, Ripple was at 30 cents. Now it's at 25 cents per Ripple. So, like, if Ripple's dropping fast, and that's what's going to slow down Ethereum falling below Ripple, if it ever does. They might both just fall really quickly. Basically, what's happening is the entire alternative cryptocurrency market, all the altcoins, because Bitcoin's the main cryptocurrency, and all the other coins are considered altcoins, they're all losing a ton of money. Like, all the time recently. Even Litecoin went down 7%. It's below $3 billion market cap. Stellar's doing decent, I guess. It's actually up a little bit. It's at $3.6 billion. But there's obviously some juggling that's going to happen. Like Litecoin and Stellar are competing. EOS is near the same price as Stellar. And like Stellar approached EOS. And EOS has been struggling too. EOS is down below $5. Bitcoin Cash, which is like the ripoff of Bitcoin, is really not doing good. It's down 10% today. Down to $428. Less than 10% of the Bitcoin price. So it's probably never going to compete with it. But now for our first story.
OKCoin founder starts to question in Shanghai fraud case. Space Marine.
Affirmative, Space Cadet. OKCoin and OKEx. And OKEx is like one of the top exchanges in the world. It regularly has volumes of $500 million up to $1 billion per day, placing it at the same caliber as Binance and Huobi, among the top 3 exchanges in the world. Its founder, Starzu, actually went into custody voluntarily, although I'm assuming if he had any choice, he wouldn't have voluntarily put himself into police custody in China. And he wanted a questioning, whatever that means. He's been labeled as a suspect in a fraud case because apparently he's a shareholder in a project called OKEcoin. And they're investigating it in China. And by the way, it's not just a normal, like, if this was in the United States, maybe this wouldn't be so remarkable. Besides the fact that, like, hey, he's the founder of one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world, Starzu. It's in China. ICOs are illegal in China. Crypto trading for the Chinese yuan, their fiat currency, is illegal. They're doing a massive crackdown on cryptocurrency in general across the board, and it's getting more extreme. Right now, apparently, crypto exchanges are still kind of allowed, but not really. Like, they actually banned most of the websites for crypto exchanges. And he was in Shanghai. He went to the Shanghai Police Department, into police custody there in China, where they really hate crypto. And he's like one of the top crypto guys in the world. Definitely one of the top crypto guys in China. And he was in police custody. He's under investigation. This could be a very sticky situation for him. Regardless of if he's guilty of something, they probably want to decimate him, for lack of a better word. I mean, there might be a better word, but yeah, decimate him is about right. They probably want to get him in trouble and take whatever money they can from him because they really don't like crypto trading. And he's one of the major people that is crypto trading that lives in China. Like, he's definitely, like, I would consider him a crypto trader since he controls the biggest exchange in the world, pretty much. It's not the biggest. Huobi and Binance are usually bigger. But yeah, he's in charge of OKEx. He's like the founder, at least. And now he's being investigated by Chinese police, which is really precarious. Like, if it was anywhere else, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. He would have his rights. But in China, they really are cracking down on crypto. I'm going to look into this further and write an article for Bitcoin News before I speculate any further on what's going on here. Now for our next story.
IMF doesn't like Marshall Island. Plan for non-USD sovereign cryptocurrency. Space Marine.
Affirmative Space Cadet. So the Marshall Islands were part of the United States for a long time. They're near Guam, but they split off. And it happened during World War II. The United States invaded the Marshall Islands among, like, most of the other islands in the Pacific. So they became part of the U.S. They became a territory for a long time. They're still closely linked. Like, they're totally dependent on the United States' economy. And they're actually extremely dependent on the U.S. dollar, and they don't want to be. What happened is the Marshall Islands had a bunch... Like, they were chosen as a nuclear bomb testing ground. So, like, there's been decades of tension between the United States and the Marshall Islands, because the Marshall Islands want to be their own country. But before they were their own country, the United States dropped hundreds of nuclear weapons on the Marshall Islands. So that's pretty insane, and they have obviously a massive amount of radioactive damage from that, and physical damage. Like, imagine a small island, like, they have a bunch of islands, but it's like a bunch of small islands being nuked. I bet they have a few islands that weren't nuked, but even those probably have some radioactivity. You can't drop hundreds of nuclear bombs on, like, one island group without causing damage to the whole thing. It's like launching, like, the fullest scale nuclear strike possible. It was one of the testing grounds, like Nevada. So they're very angry at the United States. And part of this has led to now, because they've been having financial crises too. Like, the whole world's been having financial crises. And the United States isn't really keen on bailing the Marshall Islands out. The United States bailed U.S. corporations and banks out. But the Marshall Islands didn't really get their bailout. They had a recession in not only 2008 like everyone else during the Great Recession, but also in 2016, really recently. And now they're like, okay, we're sick of the U.S. dollar. We're going to launch the Sovereign, the SOV, and it's going to be an official cryptocurrency in the Marshall Islands, which is basically a nation. So this is another national cryptocurrency, kind of like Venezuela's doing, but this is like more legit, I guess, because, you know, the United States hates Venezuela, but they don't hate the Marshall Islands. They're not on good terms because of the nuclear testing, but they're not going to ban the Sovereign. But what they're doing, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, which pretends they're in charge of monetary policy across the world, but they're not really. They're more like just they're kind of like a saving point. Like let's say someone has an economic collapse like Greece, they can get a loan from the IMF to save their economy. But the IMF is actually delivering threats from the United States, because the United States has large control of the IMF. They're saying that if Marshall Islands adopts their own cryptocurrency, they might lose the U.S. dollar. In the sense that the only bank that allows U.S. dollars to flow through the Marshall Islands, they're going to cut that off. That's what the IMF is saying. I don't know how they have control of that, but they might be the messenger in this case. I'm going to look into this further and write an article for Bitcoin News about this. It'll be up in the next day or so. So it's really interesting how this sort of backlash is happening. even though Bitcoin's legal, crypto's legal generally. Now we have a country that used to be part of the United States launching their own crypto called the Sovereign to gain sovereignty. You know, the word sovereignty means like their own government. They're going to be in charge of themselves, and they're going to have their own currency. It's cryptocurrency. It's a great way to launch a currency without the cost of money printing, and also it's way more secure, and there's no counterfeiting problems. So of course they would choose cryptocurrency for their own national currency. That's what they're doing. It's like any country that would be launching a national currency from henceforth would choose a cryptocurrency instead of a fiat, pretty much. That's what's happening. And they're probably one of the first to decide, hey, we're launching our own currency at this point in time. But now the United States, through the IMF, is delivering threats, like, don't do that, or we're going to cut off the US dollar. But they want to launch the sovereign to get rid of the US dollar anyways. So maybe that would work out really good. Maybe the sovereign would gain a lot of value. Because, by the way, with cryptocurrency, if you could get it exchanged, like, yeah, they might cut off the bank for the sovereign. I just thought of this now. They might cut off the bank for the sovereign. But then you could have the sovereign traded on a crypto exchange that accepts US dollars, and then that'll be your bank. They can get US dollars in with their cryptocurrency. That's how versatile cryptocurrency is. So just by having a cryptocurrency, they can get around any sort of ban on getting US dollars. And then they have their own powerful currency, cryptocurrency, the sovereign. So I'm going to write more in depth about this and cover all the details on a Bitcoin News article.
We can go to our next story about the submarine swaps. What would happen?
Affirmative Space Cadet. So we talked about submarine swaps on like the past show. But I want to go more in detail about this because I finally wrote the article for this on Bitcoin News, and it's a lot of potential. So just the essence of submarine swaps. It's like an atomic swap where you transfer from one blockchain to another without a middleman, but it's with the Lightning Network. So they found you could send Bitcoin to the Lightning Network from the Bitcoin blockchain. And that, I mean, the Lightning Network is opened up. Like, you send a transaction on the blockchain of Bitcoin to open up the channel and to close the channel. That's it. And then everything in between is on the Lightning Network. They found you could directly send Bitcoin from the Bitcoin blockchain to the Lightning Network. And basically, that one thing right off the bat is you could top up a Lightning channel. Like, before, a Lightning channel would run out of Bitcoins, and then it would close, and you have to open another one. Instead, you could top it up with a submarine swap. You could send more Bitcoin into the channel and keep it open. The really cool thing, though, this is why I'm bringing this up again, is it allows every cryptocurrency imaginable with the proper coding and technology development to be sent into the Bitcoin Lightning Network. For example, they already created the software for Litecoin and Ethereum to be sent directly into the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So, first off, yes, you could put any cryptocurrency into the Lightning Network of Bitcoin. So that makes it so you don't have to create a Lightning Network for Litecoin, which they already did. They have a small one for Litecoin. It's very tiny, because the one for Bitcoin is pretty tiny, too. It's only 100 Bitcoin capacity. But now they can actually have just one Lightning Network with all the cryptocurrencies, and that's the way it's probably going to be because of submarine swaps. And then it goes beyond that. You can create the ultimate decentralized exchange inside the Bitcoin Lightning Network with all the cryptocurrencies being traded. And I think this is going to become popular. And this totally defeats all the regulations around the world that have been trying to stop crypto. There might even be a way to tie fiat into this. Like, they could use Tether. Tether is a cryptocurrency, the USDT. They could send Tether into the Lightning Network and start having USD trading inside the Lightning Network and totally defeat all the government regulations, because the governments around the world have been working all the time on increasing the stranglehold they have on cryptocurrency through the banks and stuff. This is a major paradigm shift where cryptocurrency trading could become free from regulations. Literally, the Lightning Network will work in China. Like, China banned any fiat trading. But the Lightning Network's going to work there. So once it's all set up, this decentralized exchange that's going to be powered by submarine swaps, people could be trading anything they want in China or anywhere. Any of these countries that ban crypto are not going to be able to stop the Lightning Network. It's a real decentralized exchange. It has a lot of motivation and backing from people that want the Lightning Network to become a scalability solution for Bitcoin, because the main reason the Lightning Network was created was so people could send thousands or millions of transactions with Bitcoin instead of just like 10 per second, because Bitcoin can only handle 5 or 10 per second before it becomes a big problem with fees and stuff. Lightning Network gets rid of that. So everyone wants this to work anyways, and they're going to use it. And now we find out with submarine swaps, it could be the ultimate decentralized exchange, totally defeating government regulations. It might be something we need, because the government regulations have been getting crazier and crazier. Even with just crypto to crypto trading, they've been trying to get identification from people and stuff like that. That's overboard. It never should have been like that with crypto to crypto trading. So now that the Lightning Network might defeat that. So this is interesting news, and I'm going to keep tracking this, and you'll hear more about this in future shows. Now for our final story.
Ripple R3 reached settlement in multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency lawsuit, Space Marine.
Affirmative, Space Cadet. So R3 is a big blockchain consortium company. And Ripple obviously owns Ripple. They have Ripple Labs and the Ripple Foundation. And apparently Ripple agreed to sell R3 5 billion Ripple at the cut rate price of 0.0085 cents. And just to put that in perspective, Ripple's price right now is near 26 cents. And also another perspective is Ripple only has 40 billion coins in circulation, but at the same time, the Ripple Labs and the Ripple Foundation control 60 billion Ripple. There's 100 billion Ripple total, and 60 billion of them are being controlled by the people that created Ripple, and there's only 40 billion in circulation. So the Ripple Foundation, Ripple Labs, has the ability to sell a tremendous amount of Ripple to the point that they can actually crash Ripple's price completely. And this deal, like, it's 0.0085 cents for 5 billion Ripple. It adds up. 5 billion times 0.0085 cents is $42.5 million. So that's a clean $42.5 million profit. Apparently Ripple kind of backed out of it though. But they made the deal in the first place because yeah, we're going to make $42.5 million for just doing nothing, just like hitting a button. And that's the power they have. They have that right. It's actually legal. And it's so legal that a court forced them to do it, it looks like. They settled it. They don't say what they did. But the court probably said, yeah, you got to stick to that agreement. And they probably sold it. And now R3 has 5 billion Ripple, probably. I'm just speculating. I don't know that for sure, but probably. That's how it would go down in the U.S. courts. And this is bad. So basically, Ripple Labs or the Ripple Foundation, whoever made this trade, sold 5 billion Ripple for like $42.5 million potentially, sucking the money out of everyone else that had Ripple. Like, R3 is the one that wins this, I guess, and also the Ripple Labs. They win and everyone else loses. It's like money printing. Basically, Ripple has the ability to print 60 billion Ripple all at once because there's only 40 billion in circulation. So they can just print 60 billion whenever they want. And that would suck the money out of the market. And Ripple has not been doing good. Ripple was as high as $3.20 over that. Maybe like almost $3.50. $3.65 during the big rally. Almost right around New Year's 2018. And then it's been crashing. It was at 30 cents last time I looked, and now it's at 26 cents already. And I'm sure this news is really not going to be good. It's not just the news. Even the news would make people sell the Ripple. But the fact that if these 5 billion Ripple really do enter circulation, it's going to cause a problem. It's going to cause the price of Ripple to decline a lot. 5 billion Ripple versus 40... Like, 5 billion Ripple that have, like, no... They were basically free into the circulation of only 40 billion Ripple that do cost 26 cents each. That's going to mess the price up if it really does go down like that. Maybe they just paid them the cash. I don't think they did, though. I'm just speculating, though. Who knows? They don't... In these sort of settlements, they don't announce what they do. But I'm guessing the U.S. court made them just honor their agreement. But regardless, whatever speculation there is that I'm saying, they could do this in the future. They could agree, hey, we're going to sell all of our Ripple for 1 cent and just crash the price down all at once. They have that right. They own it. There's nothing against that. Nothing illegal about that. And this is... No one's been considering Ripple. Like, the true cryptocurrency people have known that Ripple is not a real cryptocurrency. You can't mine it. It's centrally controlled by Ripple Labs or Ripple Foundation, especially because they control 60 billion Ripple. So they can ruin the price of Ripple at any time for their own benefit. So this is just another example of why Ripple is not something to really invest in. It has good technology. It's good for cross-border payments. It will work for that regardless of its price. But investing in it, expecting it to go up, might not be the best idea. It's just been going down, down, and down. In fact, it's been going down so much recently. Like, Bitcoin's been kind of steady and going up and down and kind of steady around 6,000 if you look at the long term. If you look at the long term of Ripple, it's been going down and down and down. It's almost like they are dumping Ripple slowly. And this is just part of it. Like, they made this agreement a while ago when they were planning on dumping it. And now they already dumped a lot, but now they have to dump even more with this agreement probably. So let's just be a warning that if you hold Ripple Foundation, Ripple Labs could literally suck the money out of your Ripple, its actual monetary value, by dumping whatever they want, because they own most of the Ripple. That's all we have for you today on the September 11th, 2018 edition of the BitcoinNews.com Daily Radio Show. Go to BitcoinNews.com for all the latest on Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency 24/7. If you read BitcoinNews.com all the time, you will be an expert. This is your host, Space Marine, signing out. Taking a ride on the Battlestar Galactica. I hope I don't get killed by a Cylon. See you tomorrow.
This is Space Cadet. Thanks for listening.
Adios, amigos.